Wasabi's, do you love me? Are you riding? Say you never ever leave from beside me. Cause I want ya to be here with this beauty basic tutorial. Ayy, ayy. Hey guys, it's Missy Lynn. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, thank you for stopping by. And if you would like to join the Missy Lynn family, it's totally free. All you have to do is mash on that subscribe button and click the notification bell. That way you never miss another upload. Today's video is going to be about beauty basics that you need to know and remember whenever you're trying to achieve a flawless face, whether you're in a hurry or you're new to makeup, whether it's day-to-day makeup or event makeup, club makeup, date makeup. I'll share with you my 7 B's of beauty tips to help you slay your face every single time. This video is inspired by an episode on all things Adrian. You can check out the original video right here. And a huge thank you to Ken for sponsoring and collaborating with me on this video. I'm super excited to share all of my tips with you guys. So if you're ready to get into the beauty basics, then let's get started. Okay, so on days where I'm kind of looking rough and tough with an afro puff, I typically go towards my brows first because I feel like it kind of frames my face. It gives me a guideline as to the look that I actually am going for. So I always like look in the mirror and I see, okay, what exactly needs to be done to my brows? As you can see, my brows are a bit thin and kind of like sparse. I do not have full thick brows whatsoever, but I do have somewhat of a shape. So for me, I like to outline the shape of my brows first before I go in and do any plucking because I don't want to like over pluck and then ruin the shape that I do have. So I'm using my Stila All Day Waterproof Brow Color, and this is in the color dark. And I start in the beginning of the brow lightly, a very light hand. And I just trace beneath the brow until I get to the point of where my arch will start. After I'm done like kind of just outlining, I like to go in and do short hair-like strokes to fill in the areas that are kind of sparse. And then from there, I can focus on exactly where I want my tail to go. So I like it to like kind of have an angle. So I'm just going to kind of start back at the base and drag it like that. And then I can just go back underneath where I've drawn the line and pluck. Get rid of those unwanted hairs and just, you know, make it a little neater. See, so you can see the difference already between the two brows. So once I'm satisfied with the brow thus far, I like to go in with a dark brown eyeshadow. Now for me, I like using powder eyeshadow for several different reasons when it comes to my eyebrows. One, you know, you can kind of blend it out a little bit easier than you would if you were using like this pen like all over the brow, or if you were using some type of like brow pomade. It's not as easy to blend it out in my opinion. And then two, if you do have a problem with oil or you sweat, then you don't have to worry about your eyebrows like looking really shiny. So for me, I actually like using powder because it will combat the oil and the sweat that may kind of seep through like the little hairs in your eyebrows. So I just go in with a small angled brush. And I use a light brown because, of course, I do not want like super black eyebrows. And then I just slowly flick it through the hairs. It gives a more realistic, natural look. So once I've applied my brow powder, I can go in and use my Stila All Day Waterproof pen. And what I do, I just kind of drag out the top of the brow to meet the tail of the brow. And it doesn't have to be perfect because you can clean it up. So once I've done that, I like to go in with some concealer, maybe 2 shades lighter, and I like to just define underneath the brow. And if you don't have an arch, you can totally make it by kind of tugging up at the top and just kind of dragging that concealer underneath. It gives a more clean, crisp look, as if though you just got your eyebrows arched. So you can either do your base first and then your brows, but I typically like to start off with my brows first because it takes the longest, and I rather just put the time and effort into my brows first and kind of just maneuver around my eyebrows as I'm perfecting my base. So I always start off with a clean, freshly washed face, and then I move into a serum and then a moisturizer, or if I'm pressed for time, I go straight into moisturizing. So for today's moisturizer, I'm going to be using my vitamin enriched face base by Bobbi Brown, and I absolutely love this stuff. It smells so good. Even though it's very rich, it's not greasy, and it really makes my skin feel very supple. So that's the thing that you want to focus on. You want to focus on serums and moisturizers that will bring that hydration back into the skin, because you do not want dull looking skin when you're, wearing foundation. So once you've already like moisturized and did the necessary steps to bring that hydration back into the skin, you really want to like assess your skin and see, okay, do I have any, hyperpigmentations, any discolorations in the skin that I need to perfect before moving on to my foundation? Because at the end of the day, you want your foundation to basically look as flawless as possible. And I know sometimes whenever you're first starting off with makeup, you don't know these things, and it's really hard to achieve the look that you want, especially if you have hyperpigmentation or discolorations, acne scars, things like that. There are different things that you can do to achieve the overall look that you're actually trying to achieve. So if you do have dry skin, you want to moisturize. If you do have oily skin, you want to moisturize, but you want to stay away from ingredients that are going to pull out the oils a lot faster than it would basically come out on its own. And then whenever it's time to prime, because basically the foundation needs something to stick to. You cannot build a house without building that base first. So of course, if you want to get the most out of your house, then you need a cement base down with the necessary planks on the side to build the frame of the house to keep the house together. So that's the purpose of a primer. The thing is, with the primer, you need to make sure that whenever you're shopping for a primer that will go underneath the foundation, you want to make sure that you're buying the type of primer that will go with your skin type. So if you do have oily to combination skin, you want to find something that is going to help combat the oil. Or if you have dry skin or like large pores, then you want to find something that is going to minimize the pores, kind of even out the skin tone, and not really cling to the dry patches. So there's different types of primers for different skin types. I have normal to combination skin, so I like to start off with my Tatcha. This is the Silk Canvas Primer, and I like this because honestly it just really makes the appearance of my skin look a lot smoother before I actually go in with my foundation. And because I have normal to combination skin, meaning that I'm typically, pretty normal in most areas. Sometimes I have a few dry patches, but I tend to get oily in my T-zone area. So it's okay to have different primers for different areas of the face. You just have to know your skin type. I like to use my Becca Ever Matte Poreless Primer, and y'all, I swear to you, this is like one of the best primers I've tried on oily skin. Like I've used it on some of my friends when I'm doing their makeup and on myself, and it really like gets rid of the shine. And then I'm gonna put a little bit around my mouth because I tend to get those smile lines. So the final step in perfecting your base is going in with the color corrector to get rid of any discolorations that you may have. You may have perfectly flawless skin and you just want to wear a foundation to just kind of even out the skin tone a little bit. But for someone like me, I do have hyperpigmentation. I have dark circles. I have hyperpigmentation, dark areas around my mouth. So I like to color correct. There are different color correctors out there based on the condition of your skin. If you are like medium tan to like dark, you want to use something that's a little bit peachy and orange. If you have red acne spots and you are of like a fair skin tone or like light skin tone, then you can use green, and that's gonna reduce the redness. There's blue, there's purple, there's so many different color correctors. Whenever you are shopping, you want to make sure that you're getting the right color corrector for the condition of your skin. So I'm just gonna add a little orange because I do not want the hyperpigmentation to peek through the foundation and give that gray cast. And blend it out. Ha ha ha, which is another important B for the basic beauty tips. I feel like my base is pretty much perfect at this point, so my foundation should not have a lot of work to do. For my foundation, I'm gonna go in with the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, and this is one of the new shades that Jackie Aina helped produce, and this is in the color Brulee. So I'm just gonna start in the center of my face. And for me, being that I live in Texas, I like to use a shade that is a little bit darker. I like to kind of start off with having a foundation that's a little bit darker because it's easier to lighten the foundation than it is to start off with a light foundation. Then yeah, you pretty much look like a ghost. As you see, I put most of the foundation like in the center of my face and kind of worked it down. I'm not gonna go underneath my eyes with it because I don't want to like overdo the product because that is an area that I am going to brighten. Being that I've already used a lighter shade underneath the brow, I can go in with the darker shade on the same brush and just carve out the top. And to me, it looks more natural. So we pretty much got our base down pat. We got our foundation on, you know what I'm saying? So now it's time to brighten, which is another term for highlighting. There's highlighting and there's a highlighter. So highlighting is basically brightening the areas that you want to draw attention to. I like to brighten the areas underneath my eyes, the center of my forehead, down the bridge of my nose, my cupid's bow, and my chin. So whenever you're out and about and you're in the sunlight or you're in an area where there's lots of light, it's naturally going to hit certain planes of your face, and that light is going to retract off of those areas. So you know, like you really want to like kind of highlight those areas. And also another reason that brightening is important is because whenever you're wearing foundation, you have to understand that we are not all just one color. We have different colors, you know, in our face. We might be really light in the center of our face and dark on the outer portions of our face, or vice versa. So you really want to pay attention to all the areas that are lighter and like highlight those areas. Use the other side to blend out the lines of demarcation. And then because I have pretty dark lids, I'm going to brighten my lids. I don't know if any of you kind of run into that problem when you're putting eyeshadow on without anything. You just like literally take it on a brush, put it on your eyes, and go about your day. And then you notice that like it's creasing or it's starting to fade away. Well, again, it doesn't have anything to cling to. If you have oily skin, you can do the whole baking, but I don't like to bake because I am dry underneath my eyes, and it will look very patchy. So I have to be really careful about how much powder I put in, you know, those areas. Just for a little extra security, I'm going in with my Kat Von D. This is the Lock It Powder Foundation. If you have oily skin, this is going to be your best friend. So I'm just adding this powder to the perimeter of my face. Okay, so now we are going to bronze. Consider bronzing to be like sunlight, you know? Like, since we already have those natural contour, those natural shadows or whatever that is giving off that grayish tone. So I'm using my mineral powder by Kiss. This is RK by Kiss, and the shade is Honey Brown. Add bronzer to the area that is naturally shadowy. And for me, that is my natural contour area. And then I'm going to add some to my temples and then the perimeter of my forehead. and I'm just dragging that down. You can actually stop here and put some mascara on and go if this is the kind of look that you want. Whenever I want that natural type of flush look, I like to use my hand and I like to choose the hue of the blush that is pretty close to the color that's right here in the inside of my palm near my thumb. I'm gonna go in with my Lorac. This is the Technicolor blush, which is a soft, like, salmon pink. I don't know if it's giving off its true color on camera, being that I have a pretty like triangular face. It's recommended to put right on the apples of the cheek and then kind of drag out a bit, but I like to go upward with it, and then I just kind of use circular motion, and it gives a more like youthful look. So now we've made it to the blind them beam. And you know, for me, I'm like, girl, add some luminosity to the skin. Not everybody is blessed to have naturally dewy, radiant looking skin. So if you do see people out there and their skin just looks like really glowy, this is the secret. You just have to add a little luminosity back into the skin. So for me, I like to use my Jackie Aina highlighter. This is the Diamond Glow Powder by Artist Couture, and this is a collaboration with Jackie Aina. So I like to use what's in the cap and lightly add some of that Diamond Glow Powder on top of my blush. Now, if you really want to kill them, you know, you can add a little bit like around the temples, just a little bit, but I don't like to look like overly done. As I kept stressing throughout this little tutorial, blending is very important. You want to make sure that you blend, 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 blend. There are different brushes and sponges that have different responsibilities. So that is very important when factoring in blending, okay? So for me, I like using a sponge to kind of blend out liquid and cream products. And I do have brushes that I use for liquid and cream products as well, like my little spoon brushes here. I have like a flat top kabuki brush that I use to like blend out foundation if I'm in a rush and I don't feel like actually doing all the pouncing and twerking on my face. But, you know, there's different tools that have different responsibilities, and you just kind of have to pay attention to that. And you're not gonna know everything when you're first starting off with makeup, so don't get discouraged. Like, anyone can do it. Just be confident, keep practicing, and listen, before you know it, girl, you're gonna be looking like somebody on Vogue magazine, okay? So yeah, overall, blending is important whenever you're doing your foundation, whenever you're color correcting, anything that basically has to seep into the skin, or something that just has to have a gradient transition. All of that needs to be blended, and blending is like the #1 key when you want to achieve like a perfect look. So I showed you guys how I basically blend my brows. I've showed you guys how I blend my color correcting concealer. I've showed you guys how I blend my foundation, my under eye highlights, my contour, all of that. So I'm gonna just show you guys the key tips for blending on the eyes. Something that is very, very simple to keep in mind, especially when you're a beginner. So I'm not gonna go through every single brush type. You've seen me use, you know, several different face brushes, and these are different versions of eye brushes. Now, every one of these have a different responsibility. So as I use them, I'm going to explain what the responsibility of these brushes are to help achieve a more blended eyeshadow look, something that is quick and easy, or something that is just very simple to achieve whenever you don't want to put a lot of time and effort into the overall eyeshadow look. So I'm going to be using my 240 S brush. This is by MAC. You can use this brush for multiple different reasons. You can use this to put one color all over the eyelid. You can use this to, you know, blend underneath the eye for concealer. You can use it to highlight. You can use it for the tip of your nose. You can use it to blend out nose contour. It's a very versatile brush. Now, y'all take note, because, you know, especially if you're a beginner, I don't want you going out there spending all kind of money on different eyeshadows or whatever. So I'm using my face powder that match my skin tone. Put that all within the crease. And honestly, I like using tapered blending brushes because basically it kind of blends the eyeshadow for you. Just use some circular motions and you can get a lot of coverage, especially with this brush. So I'm going into my Jaclyn Hill palette, and y'all excuse the mess, don't judge me. So I'm gonna go into the shade here, which is a like burnt orange, and I'm using my 217S brush. It is very similar to the 217 brush by MAC. They're both blending brushes. This one is flat, right? And this one is fluffy all the way around. But they're both blending brushes and they're both very dense. So that means that you can actually build the color on your eyelids fairly quickly. So for me, I'm just gonna use the 217S because I like the fact that it's, you know, it's kind of flat on its belly, and I can just kind of pack that color exactly where I want it. And I can just kind of stick that into the crease and get the color where I want it. On this eye, I'm gonna show you what the blending brush would do. So I'm just gonna slightly dab it into my crease. So that is the difference. You can see that because it's fluffy, you know, and has like a rounded edge, it's gonna blend out that shade for you. And this one will leave more of a harsh line. Now, it's all about preference. If you want to like skip the hard work, then I would say just get a regular blending brush and just take that color and literally kind of poke yourself in the crease. I'm gonna go in with that same brush on this side. And you can probably already see that it's blending it out. And all I'm doing is literally dabbing. So then I'm going to go back in with my large taper blending brush, and I'm just going to literally use circular motions at the very top of that shade. And then you can also go back and forth, windshield wiper motions. If you're in a rush, you can just take your pressed powder and you can put it all over your eyelid and then put some eyeliner on it. But if you just, you know, if you kind of want to keep it pretty simple, but you still kind of want that oomph, then I'm going to tell you just take 2 colors and then something on the lid. So I'm going to apply some lashes. You don't have to, but, you know, for me, I want to. If you have long lashes and you want to use a curler, then you're pretty much done. So those are my beauty basic tips. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave me a comment about today's video and let me know what you enjoyed most about the makeup application or the video itself. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to turn on your notification bell, and don't forget to like this video. And I would greatly appreciate it if we could get this video to 5,000 likes. Pause the video. Press the little thumbs up button beneath this video. It's very important to share the videos, guys. Also, don't forget to check out All Things Adrian, which comes out every Tuesday. I'll be sure to put the link beneath this video if you're interested in checking out her channel. And again, huge thank you to Ken for sponsoring and collaborating with me on this video. So until next time, guys, you already know the drill. Be you, be beautiful, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.